Welcome to the United States of America podcast. I am your host, Niti, and we are broadcasting live from the Food Church here on North Carolina. If you've missed past episodes, please be sure to take the time to watch the first episode and watch the rest like a documentary. We are people at peace, and we have declared peace to all nations around the world. This is not a marketing or a promotional channel. We are shining a light on knowledge that is being hidden from you, and we are sharing the truth about your birthright and your inheritance. We have moderators who are assisting in the comment section. Please be kind and self-govern, and if you have any questions, please put them in all caps and only enter them once per show. So I wanted to say Happy New Year, everybody. And, I don't know what is going on Earth right now, but I will tell you what, I know that everything is collapsing. I know that we have Walmart threatening to shut down all their stores on the state of California right now. And Governor Newsom is going crazy. I know that, the great fraud is being revealed everywhere on earth as all the banks are being exposed. I know that my internet wasn't trying to allow me to log in, so I really apologize for the delay between whatever's going on with these connections. And I know even Anna and Shannon and them are having a hard time on Alaska with the weather. It is crazy. So I just, we're like walking into 2026, fake 2026, with a bang. And it's bananas, right, guys? It's like, what on earth is going on? Every day there's all this madness happening with the banks collapsing. And the latest thing, it was another thing collapsing. I mean, we know the corporatocracy is collapsing, guys. That's no surprise, right? But all I know is that the news is just pouring in at like 100 miles an hour every day with all the arrests, with all of, whatever is going on. Shell is trying to shut down on California. Walmart's trying to shut down on California. And and more. Like, I don't know what the governor over there is going to do. And why are we seeing it on California first? It's kind of a trip, right? Maybe because they're the most aggressive, angry, crazy people. And then, are y'all paying attention where they're finally admitting, and you have the Supreme Court releasing the information about, hey, guess what? The Second Amendment. We have the right to bear arms. We don't have the right to have permission to bear arms. We have the right to bear arms. And now the Supreme Court has, hey, by setting the precedent of saying you don't need to have permits to bear arms, you don't need permission for anything. Hello, because they can't, we can't give our rights away, right? We all know this, right? Lawfully, we can't even give our rights away. And of course, we can argue, what are rights? What are rights even? Because the rights are just political. That's a political word, right? But you can't take like the freedom to travel and then try to charge for the permission to have a permit to have an arm. And so therefore you don't need to have a license to travel freely. We already knew this was very well established, but when they're doing this for arms, it is a much bigger deal. It's real easy when they've done it for the arms. Then you want to have some guy trying to argue with you about a permit to travel freely. That kind of becomes a joke at that point, right? When are these folks going to comprehend what Anna's saying about the 14th Amendment? Now, I know that we got the PKTF, they've taken over the great work of getting us the Rumble channel going again, where they're reading Anna's articles. But I just wanted to go over this one with you guys because I think this is a big one for a lot of people, because we sure have a lot of folks who have no idea about this 14th Amendment. So let me just get this up here on my screen. Let me see. I wish I was a lot faster at this. There we go. Guys, like these, here, let me see, can I make it bigger? I don't know if I can make it bigger for you or not. Well, maybe everybody can see this. Let me just go through this with you. So this is an international public notice. What is the 14th Amendment? Most people think that the so-called 14th Amendment is a legitimate amendment to the service contract known as the Constitution of the United States of America, issued in 1789. This idea is understandable, especially as it was calculated and presented in a manner to give the impression and promote that assumption. However, closer examination shows that the 14th Amendment was a bylaw amendment added to a very similar document, also calling itself the Constitution of the United States of America. Hold on one second, guys. I'm sitting here. Let me just take care of one thing real quick. I apologize. Just one moment. Okay. I'm not sure if Anna will be able to pop on with us, but I have shared the link with her. And I also told her not to worry about this. I really want her to put her attention in the very few places that she needs to actually pay attention. You know, I think we all agree we need her to be properly focused, on the right things. And I just know it's already been such a hard time for her with the holidays without Jim, and their anniversary is coming up. So, I don't know. I just personally think she needs to be able to continue to enjoy a break. But if she wants to show up, that would be good, right? It'll be fine. Anyway, back to this. So, she's explaining that the 14th Amendment was a bylaw amendment of a corporation charter, right? And so this is for the Constitution of the United States of America, which was issued in 1868 as the Articles of Incorporation for a foreign commercial corporation registered in Scotland. And so that 14th Amendment, it was just a bylaw amendment of the corporate charter. It had nothing to do with the Constitution issued by our government in 1789. And so as a corporate bylaw amendment, the 14th Amendment did not require ratification by the states of the Union, and that is exactly what we observe. So the 14th Amendment, like the 16th, was never ratified by the states of the Union. And so we have thus established, importantly, what a 14th Amendment was not and is not. It is not a ratified amendment to the actual Constitution of the United States of America, issued in 1789. It's a very different kind of amendment, a bylaw amendment being applied to a very different kind of constitution, which was never fully disclosed to nor adopted by the American public, and which was never ratified by our states of the Union. So the 14th Amendment should have disappeared in 1907, together with its corporate constitution, when the underlying corporation went bankrupt. Instead, the constitution of this defunct commercial corporation and its equally defunct 14th bylaw amendment continued to be circulated and published and took a life of its own. Amid the endless discussions about what the 14th Amendment means and requires, people have forgotten to ask what it fundamentally is. And that's unfortunate because a bylaw amendment to a corporation charter issued to a defunct and bankrupt corporation means little or nothing at all. It's a historical artifact. The only possible legitimate interest in the 14th Amendment is as an example of large scale criminal commercial fraud in the 19th and early 20th century. So, having determined both what the 14th Amendment is and what it is not, we are prepared to make some additional observations. It is not possible to confer citizenship obligations on people. Municipal citizenship of the United States is a contractual obligation that the 14th Amendment purportedly created and arbitrarily confirmed on freed plantation slaves, using the argument that these same former slaves were stateless and in need of a political status that would allow them to stay in this country. Well, everyone born on the land and soil of an American state is automatically a national of that state, regardless of their race, creed, or color, regardless of land ownership, economic condition, or age. So the only American Negroes who could be considered stateless were those born in geographical areas outside the borders of any state of the Union. In the territories, precisely the areas under the control of the British territorial U.S. government and Congress, a responsibility of theirs under the Northwest Ordinance. So, thus, the 14th Amendment was a corporation bylaw amendment reflecting a corporate public policy, allowing the British territorial U.S. government to latch onto the American Negroes born in then the territories and arbitrarily presume that they were municipal citizens of the United States. Well, why wouldn't they be considered U.S. citizens if the U.S. Congress was so concerned about them being stateless? Well, the U.S. citizens were the winners in this illegal mercenary conflict known as the American Civil War, and they were intent on collecting war reparations from the losers in the conflict, the municipal citizens of the United States who sided with the Southern Confederacy. So, by presuming that freed Black people born in the territories were citizens of the United States, the U.S. Congress could claim they were criminals and therefore slaves and attach them as chattel property instead of being private property. The victims became public property. Not only that, the citizens of the United States could be taxed to pay war reparations, denied trial by jury, denied habeas corpus protection. They were guilty until proven innocent. Of course, the men charged with enforcing the 14th Amendment then, as now, were mostly ignorant workers taking directions from experts they trusted to interpret the law and determine which form of law applied to individuals. So, as a result, the presumptions applied to Negroes born in the territories that were also liberally applied to Negroes born in the states. So, that's just a practical matter. All people of color were disadvantaged by foreign citizenship obligation imposed on them without their knowledge or consent. The 14th Amendment was a bylaw amendment adopted by a foreign corporation operating under conditions of deceit and criminal self-interest. Although it was never ratified by the states of the Union and never part of the actual Constitution of the United States of America, 1789, it was and is often confused with and misrepresented as an actual constitutional amendment. No such honor may be accorded the 14th Amendment, which has instead served to undermine and deny the actual protections owed to all Americans and to obfuscate the nature of the actions undertaken by the U.S. Congress in the wake of the Civil War. Actions used to promote unlawful political conversion, aggravated identity theft, and deliberate denigration and impersonation with intent to defraud. Instead of arguing about what the 14th Amendment means, we need to recognize what it is and what it isn't. It is our implacable position that the 14th Amendment was and is evidence of crimes committed against humanity, and especially against people of color. That this historical evidence of crime has no existing source of power or authority, that it was never a constitutional amendment applicable to any actual federal constitution, never ratified by the states of the Union, and was instead a bylaw amendment attached to the deceptively named and presented corporation charter for a British Crown entity doing business as the United States of America Incorporated. We are not deceived. We prohibit any continued misapplication of the 14th Amendment on our shores, and also all similar so-called amendments, such as the 16th Amendment, which were never ratified by the states of the Union and which do not represent any valid amendments to any actual federal constitution issued by the American states. So there's that. I just thought that was really important for us to go over and for everyone to know, and I really appreciated Anna writing to, to Traore and saying, hey, you keep saying this is an American thing, the Americans this and the Americans that. And really, it's the U.S. Corporation. It's not the Americans. And she was asking him to, to really know and learn. That's pretty good too. Like, that's important for us as well. Anyway, I was just, I don't know. I'm looking at all the things that Anna has gone over, and it's just crazy. It's a crazy thing that's going on right now, right? Let me see what you guys are talking about. Yeah, Speechify for Paul Shermer. That is so good. I'm really glad that they got that going again. Why do we still see chemtrails? These people are all front loaded. They're desperate. Oh my gosh. Not only is it a little bit of chemtrails, it's a lot of chemtrails. They are going bonkers over here. And I mean, really, friends, we just need to get over it. But like, look at what they're doing. They're collapsing so fast. I don't know that this isn't going to last very much longer. Everyone is saying that we should see something very substantial shift, by March, if not sooner. But like every day I wake up and there's like someone else collapsing, something else falling completely apart. And all these guys like backpedaling. So that's fun, right? But yeah, they're kind of desperate. The chemtrails are crazy. Crazy. I don't know if you guys are have gotten your courts up, or well, get your courts up, and let's start noticing them. We just need to notice them and let them know, like, hey guys, if you pollute the air over our state, we're gonna knock you down. I don't know that it would take us more than one demonstration. If one plane were to get knocked down, I don't know that there would be another one ever doing it again, right? What do you think? What do you guys think? It's like Anna has said to them before, we could show you our full power, but we would prefer that you choose to course correct. Right? We're not interested in warring with them. Most of these people are Americans. They just don't know who they are. They don't know where they're from. Right? We want them to start realizing what's going on. And anybody who still thinks that chemtrails is a conspiracy theory, like what are we doing here? Your eyes don't work that you can look up into the sky and see the planes making lines in the sky? Who can't see this? What's going on? Also, I find it fascinating that people uh, think that from the ground you would be able to see a contrail if it was just a normal contrail, you know, like a little bit of a contrail. Most of these planes don't really put out much of a trail, not just naturally. I mean, if you're able to see something coming out of a plane making a line, I don't know why it is that there are people out in the world on the ground who don't comprehend the volume of what must be coming out of that plane for you to be able to see it miles away on the ground. You know what I mean? So if you have friends who are like, okay, conspiracy theorist, like literally walk them outside and be like, look at the sky. Do you see that plane? Do you see that one? Do you see? Because I mean, I just see them everywhere, right? You don't see them? Can you see them? Logic. So there's not a real, when you see planes taking off and landing, you don't see nothing following them when they go up like the regular passenger planes. It's the hideous, majorly, massively polluting ones that actually are dumping chemicals once they're up in the sky. But they don't leave anything that you can see when they're so close to you on the ground. So why do you think you would be seeing anything behind them up in the sky? I don't know, guys. Am I just stupid over here? I think it's really obvious for people to, a lot of this stuff is so obvious. This is something that I feel like um we have to start talking about these things on our assemblies also, and amongst each other and just in society. you know as long as we keep lying, we will keep suffering needlessly. This is how the universe is enforcing the actual law, the hermetically sealed law of truth that aligns with morality, and the lies that align with immorality. When you lie, then what happens is the universe says, stop. You receive, like a domino effect, a negative action as a side effect of the lie. What this means is that you must have knowledge of the truth and speak the truth and walk on truth and honor in order not to suffer needlessly. And this isn't that men would be enforcing it. This is the universe enforcing it. It's called karma. Can we just agree that you get to create your own reality? Itty less than real. You are creating what is real in your life by the choices that you make when you wake up every day. When you wake up in the morning and you decide that you are love and you are worthy and you are, precious, and you are regenerative and you are pain free, saying, I am all that I am. I am, love. I am truth. I am a magnet for like minded people. I am, a magnet for wealth. I am, abundant. I am in abundance. I am immersed in abundance with other people who are all abundant. Then the universe has to hand it to you on a silver platter, because all the universe says is yes, yes, yes. But if you say bad words like I am something not what you want to be, or in lack or something like that, then the universe says yes, yes, yes. I'm not going to say all those bad words, but you know what I'm talking about. So we have to, correct our self-talk. I think it's important right now. It's real important, as we move forward, for all of us to focus on um, getting up, putting our hands on our heart and saying, I am healed. I am great. I am truth. I am love. I am, seeking those who are in love. I'm seeking those who are, walking on truth. I'm seeking the truth seekers. I'm seeking those who, are the magnets for the wealth. I'm seeking those who know that we are living, those who know that we are, abundant. We are immersed in abundance. Those who know that, we have been provided with everything that we would ever need. And that, we're attracting those who are all ready to, stand together. It is harder to get people to get together right now and just work together than it is to actually do the job. The job isn't hard. You just got to get everybody together to know that they, are all there for the same reason. There's nothing else to talk about. Anyone who's trying to talk about all the decorum and all this other stuff over and over and over and over and over and over again. The problem is they're suffering with arrested development. And they need to just go ahead and realize that there's a lot more work that there is left for them to do to actually, once you become the age of majority, the way things are going right now, you kind of have to parent yourself out of all that. And I know I've said this before, but I think this is all that we need to focus on is how are we going to reparent ourselves into peace, into knowing that we're owed the law of peace, into demanding and commanding the law of peace, into knowing that there is no decorum problem here. It's just the fact of I know that you're a duck and you're a goose and you're a whatever, and we need everybody. We need all the ducks and the geese and the anybody else. We need everybody to be participating in whatever capacity that they want to. And if they don't want to participate, good. They don't have to do that either. They can just go sit down and stay out of the way. But why are you interfering with the release of all men from bondage? The whole job here, guys, is to release all men from bondage. We're just trying to release all men from bondage. That's actually the only work. It's the only work. Everything else is, you know, lies and immorality. So I'm getting a whole lot of I ams and I'm getting a whole lot of yes, it's already done. And I think we should be decreeing who we are, where we're from, what we want, and what we have. And so be it, right? So be it. Anyway, that's about all I have for you guys today. I am working on doing whatever I can to help our assembly here on North Carolina. I think you are too, wherever you are. And any of you out there on YouTube land who don't know what it is that we're doing, go back to some of the older episodes and start following what we're talking about here. And, jump in because this is the beacon calling you back home onto the land and soil wherever you are on earth. Because there's been this corporatocracy, one world government that is out there, creating problems for every living man. And enough is enough. Enough is enough. And you're owed the law of peace. It doesn't matter where you stand on the land and soil. You're owed the law of peace everywhere. And so, get better, get locked in, get caught up, and come back next week and see what we have for you. Because we're just going to keep bringing you whatever the latest thing is. Right now, all I see in every direction is if Walmart is collapsing, all the rest of it's coming down. I don't even have to name all the other corporations. So keep pushing that needle, friends. You guys are doing such a good job. Keep pushing the needle and, keep improving and working on your mindset and knowing who you are and where you're from. And I'll see you on Tuesday with the girls on Exit Stage Left. We'll be doing the Saturday business call for anybody who wants to jump on the Saturday call. The links for all of those things are in the show notes. And I don't really see any other questions or anything. So we love you and we will see you. I'll see you Saturday, then Tuesday, and back here on Thursday. Okay. Have a great day, everybody.